Very good morning to everyone. Today actually is a bad day, we can say like that. I'll tell you later. Pinky, no, Satish. It's a bad day, we can say, because this is the first time I removed one person from the class. I don't know who is that person. Repeatedly, I asked the roll number and division. She didn't say. So I removed Anjali Patel, Patel or Patil. If you know that student, you can.
मैं म्यून से हट गई हूँ यार मेरी
So again she has to join with a correct name and division, otherwise she cannot enter. I'm not sure that once I removed from the classroom, then she is capable, able to join from the same ID and password. I don't know that also. I'm not sure. But anyway, forced me to do it now itself after so many days, because this is a 19th lecture, I think. Repeatedly I was saying that how to enter into the classroom by writing your login ID. But when I was requesting the roll number and the division, she was not able to. I think Anjali. So she was not able to give it. So I had no other option. I removed her. So it's a sad thing for me as a teacher. I'm not supposed to do it, but for technical reason, I had no other option. That's why I did it. Okay, friends, how are you all? How was the day yesterday? Everything going on fine? Okay, yesterday I know that some of you already attempted that online test. Is very good. All the online tests and assignments, I kept it open till Saturday night. Yesterday you said no, 3 days, 4 days you want. I said okay, I will keep it as open for till Saturday. So till Saturday it is open now. Till Saturday, if you respond, your response will not come as a remark late. So it is open now. Okay, you carry on, go on and solve all the questions, repeatedly do it, by which that answer will be very much thorough for you. That kind of question comes examination, it will be very easy for you to answer, because you remember in your board examination, a major part of the question paper, major part in the sense, MCQ is having a very long, very good weightage. So once your MCQ marks you got, of course, your marks will go there in a higher level, like first class mark or like that you will go. So MCQ is the critical area, and there you have to score maximum marks, because students are mostly losing marks there in MCQs. So when you do these online objective questions, when you practice this one, the advantage is that you will not lose your MCQ marks. So keep on practice it. So the test is open there every time, anytime, according to your convenience, according to your interest. My voice is audible there. Everything is fine. Ishika has written that some network issue. I think only she is facing that problem. Okay. So what you have to do there, as and when you get time, to keep on solve those questions. The questions will become familiar to you, and answer also very easy for you to understand. Now, without wasting time, I want to go to the next topic. First topic, I say goodbye for time being. Now we come to the fourth topic. The fourth topic is known as molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, in between, I got a question there in the chat box. I told that I will answer it later. So this is a question I got. What is double helix model? The double helix model, the picture itself you are seeing over here. And in this topic, we are going to study about the structure of DNA molecular structure. It is a double helix. Watson and Crick, scientists Watson and Crick, they proposed this double helix model of DNA structure. And that DNA structure we will see there in this chapter. So when we discuss that area, that time I hope that you will understand it. But this much you understand just for your knowledge, that what is double helix model means. Watson and Crick proposed a particular structure for DNA, and that particular structure is called double helix model. The picture you are seeing there in this slide is also that only. So you will come to know in detail. Satish, I hope you are listening me. We will study this thing there in detail. Okay. So the double helix model, that is about the DNA structure. Watson and Crick proposed it. And the picture you are seeing over here, this is the structure of DNA that we will study over there. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go to the topic. And you already studying now the chapter number 3, that is about what is that? Inheritance and variation. You know, when you come to genetics, there are 2 genetics over there. Okay, one is called the classical genetics. The classical genetics you are studying there in chapter number 3. Annex madam is teaching you now the classical genetics. In classical genetics, you are studying about the physical characteristics and its genotype, phenotype, and Mendel's work, and so on. So things you are studying there in classical genetics. And in this topic, you are going to study is molecular genetics, classical genetics and molecular genetics. One simple example, if I say, you know anatomy. What is anatomy? Can you write there in the chat box? What is anatomy? Okay, internal structure, right? Internal structure. In that, you are studying about cell, right? You study about cell. So in internal anatomy, there you are studying about cell. In cell, what all components are there? You study nucleus is there, ribosome is there, endoplasmic reticulum is there. So on, so informations you are studying there in that internal anatomy. And external anatomy, we call it as morphology. Whereas in internal anatomy, you are studying all these things. And basically, we can say the basic point of internal anatomy is that the cell. Okay. Now my question is that when you go inside the cell, if you are making a detailed study of the cell, what do you call it? Is it anatomy or something else? Yeah, study of internal structure is called as anatomy, but the basic component of that is their cell, because you know cell, tissues, organ, systems like that we are studying there. But my point over here is now the basic unit is the cell. Into that cell you are going very deep into the cell. You are going. You are studying each and every minute things over there in the cell. That we can say the ultra microscopic study of cell. What do you call it? Cytology. Very good. So Nakul has given me the answer, and okay. So now you are pouring the answer over there. Is very good. The answer is that cytology. So anatomy and cytology, something connected we can say. Same manner, when you study about the Mendel's work, origin of genetics, and so on, so things, that is called the classical genetics. This is what exactly you study there in chapter number 3. Now, in chapter number 3, you will study about chromosome. You will study about the chromosome structure. And sometimes you might have studied about nucleic acids. I think in 11th standard, you might have studied about nucleic acids. So you can see that when we go deep into it, like cytology, when you go deep into the chromosome, you come to DNA and such things. So when you are studying at the minute level of the chromosome and so on, we can say that is the molecular genetics. So this is a difference simply there, classical genetics and molecular genetics. Classical genetics is very simple. It is little easy for you to understand. But when you come to molecular genetics, it is little tough, like cytology. Okay, study about the cell, like various organ you have, various cells you have, different types of cells you have, various types of system you have, tissues you have. So easy to understand. But when you go into a cell, little more difficult to study. Same manner, in molecular genetics, the difficulty may increase compared to the 3rd chapter called classical genetics. That means because you are studying here the minute ultrascopic structure of the chromosome, I mean the DNA. Okay, so this is what is called the molecular genetics, in which inheritance only we are learning, so it is called as molecular basis of inheritance. So this chapter we can say this is molecular basis of inheritance. By the time Aditya Gupta, I have a request, you please rename your name over there as C43 Aditya Gupta. Please write आपका नाम लिख के गुप्ता जो नाम है उसके बाद स्लैश है वहां से निकाल दो पूरा, उसका जगह पे बिगिनिंग में आप लिखो C43, that much enough for me. C43 then space Aditya Gupta. I'm not going to correct your name right now because my lecture will be my time will waste over there. Okay, I'm going to the next slide. Then this is the topic we are going to see now. In this topic you see, I mean this slide you see, you are going to get some recall in the sense you have studied something before. 11th standard you studied something, right? So that you are just recalling now. So what you studied there in 11th standard, just recalling. What is that? Just look at. Okay, what you studied about nucleic acid there in 11th standard? You studied something about nucleic acid. Am I right? You studied it or not? Anything you know about nucleic acid? Study of genes, 5 types. Then you have to give me an answer also. What are those 5 types of nucleic acids? Aryan, 5 types of nucleic acids. Can you give me? Yes, come on, tell me. Right there. Organic complex substance. Okay, what is nucleic acid? Now look at. Nucleic acid, we can say, this is the building blocks of genetic material. Now you know that we are living organisms. In all living organisms, there are so many characteristics. That is what the physical characteristics we call as a phenotype. All these characteristics, we can say, controlled by the genes present in DNA. And if you look at the genes bearing structures, we can say these are the nucleic acids. Okay, that is different thing. Nakul, that is different thing that we will see later. Okay, so nucleic acid, we can say nothing else. That is the building blocks of genetic material. By nucleic acid, our genetic material is constructed. You just imagine that there is a building. We are sitting there in a building now, or building, or anywhere. It is a place. But we can see that this dwelling place is made up of basic certain materials. If you are going to make a room, construct a building, or whatever it is, you need the basic unit called bricks. Brick is the basic material. Same manner in our body, you can see that whatever characteristics we have, all these characteristics are decided by the genetic material what we have. Genetic material will decide what kind of character you have to produce, what kind of protein has to be produced there in your body. So everything is decided by the genetic material. And this genetic material, we can say nothing nucleic acids. That means nucleic acid is nothing, that is a building blocks of genetic material, like the bricks of building. Is it clear? So what is nucleic acid? Nucleic acid is the building blocks of genetic material. Keep in mind, nucleic acids are building blocks of genetic material. Okay, now look at there. How many types of it? How many types of nucleic acids there? Now Nakul can see it clearly over here. Not 5 types, Aryan, 5 types, 2 types. There are 2 types of nucleic acids. Okay, what are nucleic acids? That is the building blocks of genetic material. And what are its 2 types? DNA and RNA. What is DNA? Deoxyribose nucleic acid. What is RNA? Ribose nucleic acid. There is a major difference between the two. The basic difference is that in DNA, you know, there is a ribose, that is a sugar that is called deoxyribose sugar. Whereas in RNA, you can see that the sugar is called ribose sugar, because in DNA, one oxygen atom is less in that sugar. So that is why it is called deoxyribose. But when you come to RNA, you can see that RNA is having sugar that is ribose. That is one major difference. Another difference we can say, that is the nitrogen bases they have. And somebody gave me the answer 5 nitrogen bases. I mean 5 nucleic acids, not 5 nucleic acids. These are 5 nitrogen bases. Adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine and uracil, what you have written there in the chat box, these are nitrogen bases. They are not nucleic acids. They are part of nucleic acid. By these nitrogen bases, we can say the DNA and RNA synthesized. Or we can say that is a part of the nucleic acid. But nucleic acids are only 2 types, that is DNA and RNA. But the major difference between the two is that in deoxyribose nucleic acid, one oxygen atom is less. Hence, the sugar is called deoxyribose sugar. Whereas in RNA, the sugar is ribose nucleic acid. That means compared to DNA, one oxygen atom is more. And second important difference is that in DNA, 4 nitrogen bases are there. They are adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymidine. But when you come to RNA, all these 4 nitrogen bases are there. But the 4th nitrogen base, what I said, thymine, that is replaced by a 5th type, another type which we call as uracil. So is it clear? The types of DNA, what I said is clear to you? Write down the chat box fast. Yes or no? Any doubt over there? Yeah, everything fine so far. I said 2 things basically now. What is the nucleic acid? In simple sense, you can say building blocks of genetic material. Then I said there are 2 types of nucleic acids. One is DNA and RNA. And then I said the main difference between DNA and RNA, one is the ribose sugar, second is that the nitrogen base. Okay, in RNA, one nitrogen base is replaced by another one. Can you tell me which one is replaced by which one? Please write there in the chat box fast. Yeah, thymine, cytosine. No. Which one is replaced by which one? That is my question. Yeah, people are writing correctly. Okay, so we have seen DNA and RNA, the main difference also we have seen. Now we come to the next one. What is then? What is the third recall? What do you see over there? Third recall. Yeah, function. What is the function of DNA and RNA? You have any idea about function of DNA and RNA? Any idea? DNA and RNA function. Acts as genetic material. So okay, well and good. Which one is genetic material? Which one is the genetic material? Which one is the genetic material? Both DNA and RNA? DNA is the genetic material. Okay, DNA is the genetic material. Yes, somebody has written that it is living. Pinky has written that it is living. Correct. So DNA is the genetic material basically, but sometimes RNA is also acting as a genetic material because RNA we can say acting as a genetic material only in case of virus. In all other living organisms, we can say DNA is the genetic material, but only in some virus we can say RNA is the genetic material. But what is the role of RNA in our case? What is the function of RNA in our case? Messenger. Okay, let it be. I don't mind. So yeah, very good. Nagulu has given me the answer. The function of RNA is that genetic material. Now look at them. The function we can say DNA is the genetic material. I don't want to repeat now. Okay, RNA is also genetic material, but that is only in the case of virus. That also not in all viruses, but in selected viruses, because in virus one important character is there. That also you have to remember. In our body, in all living organisms, we can say both DNA, RNA present. In all living organisms, we can say DNA is also there, RNA also there. That means both the nucleic acids are there in all living organisms. But in virus, you can see both the DNA, both the nucleic acid will not be present. Either DNA present or RNA present. So whatever nucleic acid is present in the virus, that nucleic acid is the genetic material. If DNA is there in the virus, that is called a DNA virus. That is, DNA is the genetic material. If instead of DNA, RNA is there, then RNA is the genetic material, and that virus we can say an RNA virus. So remember, in case of virus, RNA is the genetic material. But in all other living organisms, RNA is a messenger. So what is the meaning of this messenger? Because you know that nowadays we are using social applications there, you know, all we simply say that messengers carrying the message. So the RNA's main role is that what you can say, what is written there in the DNA for the functioning of the living organism. What kind of proteins to be synthesized, what type of character has to be present. What, in simple sense, we say what kind of protein should be synthesized, that is written there in the DNA. Because now you just imagine that I am teaching you. My teaching is based on a syllabus. Maharashtra State Board published a syllabus for you, and I can teach you only according to that syllabus. I cannot take something else and teach you, because my duty is that to teach you. So I am teaching something today. So that way I cannot do. What I am teaching you, that is based on the curriculum, that is based on the syllabus prepared by the government of Maharashtra, the HSC board. Even I cannot take the syllabus of some other state. I cannot take the syllabus of CBSE. I cannot take anything which I want to teach you, because I am supposed to follow the instructions written there in the curriculum of Maharashtra State Board. That means I am working, or I am executing my responsibility as per the informations written there in the syllabus. Same manner, the RNAs are functioning, because RNA's role, you know, already I have written that protein synthesis. Very good. The protein synthesis is taking place according to the message written there on the DNA. Or another example I will tell you. You see the buildings are built by the builders. How the buildings are built? That is based on a blueprint that is drawn by architecture. So architecture, they are, imagination we can say, they are making a drawing, and even before the construction of building, even before starting its foundation, an architect can say how the building would be. So the building, the engineers who are involved there in the construction of the building, they will look at the blueprint, and according to the blueprint only they will do the construction. Or even another example I can say, the teachers are preparing question paper for you for the examination. You see in the question paper, there are different patterns of questions there. MCQs are there, short answer there, or a long answer there, very short answer there. And all these questions are of different types. Maybe simple question, maybe difficult question, maybe very difficult question, maybe an average question. Or these questions we can notice then that is of various skills, like your knowledge may be there in that. Means already you know some questions answer you which already you know, that is based on your knowledge. Because in this slide whatever I'm talking, right, that is based on your knowledge. But in the coming slides, what you are going to study, that is your understanding. If you are practicing to draw a diagram, that is you are developing your skill. So that means what I said, for every work, you can see that there is a planning. That is what we simply say, planning. Without planning, if you do something, that will be a flop. Suppose you are going for a picnic, you are going to your native place, you are planning to do something next week. If there is no planning, it will be a flop. So this planning or preparation, we can say based on some ideas. When the question paper I am preparing, that is based on the blueprint what I have drawn long back in the sense well in advance. The building is built, that is based on the plan drawn by the architect. Nobody can change from that. So similarly, RNA synthesizing proteins. RNA जो प्रोटीन को सिंथेसाइज कर रहे हैं, डीएनए में जो लिख के रखा जो क्या बोलता है इंफॉर्मेशन है, जो प्रिंट है, ब्लूप्रिंट वी कैन से. So whatever informations have been written there in the DNA, as per that instruction, the RNA synthesizing the protein. So that is the function of the protein. So is it clear to you? I said a lot of informations there in this regarding this function of RNA, DNA. Is it clear to you, friends? Is it clear? समझ में आया आपको? Okay, now we go to the next one. What is the next one? What is written there? The difference between DNA and RNA. So DNA difference we can say, the main difference we can say, that is linear. Is slight variation is there in this slide. So one simple mistake I have done over there. This difference I have written considering the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic DNA. Actually, we are looking the difference between DNA and RNA over here. That already I told you the difference between DNA and RNA. What is the major difference between DNA and RNA? But ये difference मैंने ये slide में आपको लिखा है. Yeah, that is there. That is considering the prokaryotic DNA and eukaryotic DNA. Prokaryotic DNA you can say that is circular nature, and eukaryotic DNA you can say linear nature. But what is the point we have to write over here is that DNA is a double helix. DNA is a double helix or double stranded structure, and it is linear. But you come to RNA. RNA is of different types. RNA is having different nature, different shape it is, that we will see later. I will tell you because that slide is under preparation right now. That we will see there in part 3. And another difference we can notice over here is that DNA is double stranded linear structure, whereas RNA is maybe circular, maybe a clover leaf like, maybe linear, messenger RNA का जैसा linear हो सकता है. Okay, but difference is that single stranded. DNA is double stranded, RNA is single stranded. That is the point actually we want over here, but that is a mistake happened. So that is why I clearly mentioned that point over here. Okay, I think you understood the difference. Clear? Now we come to the next slide. What is that? We come to the topic in the introduction part is over. The discovery of DNA. Now onwards, we are going to study in detail about the DNA. What is DNA? You please write the full form over there. In the chat box, you please write the full form. You take time and write fast. What is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Now, let us see. Now you see the photograph of a scientist. You have to remember the name of this scientist. His name is that Friedrich Miescher. Name you have to remember because this Friedrich, another name, one more name you are going to see later. So This is the man who first isolated the nucleic acids. He is the man who walked behind nucleic acid. And when you कभी किया, आप देख लीजिए उधर ईयर मैंने मेंशन किया है, उन्होंने कभी किया. When he has done it in the year 1869, you just imagine that how many years back. Okay, so in 1869, Friedrich Miescher, what he did, he is the man who identified the DNA and then named it as nuclein. We are saying that nucleic acid. Last year in 11th standard, you might have studied about nucleic acid. When you studied about biomolecules there, I hope that you studied about nucleic acid. There you studied about 2 types of nucleic acid and so on. So this first nucleic acid, this nucleic acid name is coined by the scientist. ये साइंटिस्ट ने न्यूक्लिक एसिड करके नाम बताया है, न्यूक्लियन. उन्होंने फर्स्ट बुलाया उसको न्यूक्लियन, बाद में that became nucleic acid. इसका मतलब who identified DNA? Friedrich Miescher. Okay, so ये name याद रखना. Now we go to the next slide. Next slide, what it talks. It talks about how he identified DNA or he gave the name nuclein. That means उनका काम, उन्होंने कैसे काम किया है, ये न्यूक्लिक एसिड को रिकॉग्नाइज करने के लिए, फाइंड आउट करने के लिए उन्होंने कैसे काम किया है, ये जो काम का स्टेप्स इधर दिया है मैंने. So he was a scientist, remember. Okay, 5 lines में मैंने इधर पॉइंट्स आपको बता दिया. आपका टेक्स्ट बुक रीड करेगा तो एक लंबा पैराग्राफ होगा, लेकिन मैं उतना डिटेल में नहीं जा रहे, मेन पॉइंट्स में आपको इधर बोल रहे. सो व्हाट इज द वर्क ऑफ फ्रेडरिच मिशर? ओके, सो व्हाट वर्क ही हैज डन, उन्होंने क्या काम किया? वेरी सिंपल. आपको मालूम है आपका बॉडी में कुछ कट हो गया, वुंड हो गया, थोड़ा टाइम के बाद वो हील नहीं हुआ तो क्या आता है उसमें से? पस आता है, बराबर. अगर पस आ गया तो आप क्या करेगा? हॉस्पिटल में जाएगा, उसको साफ करके उसका ऊपर बैंडेज लगाएगा. Am I right? This is the way we all are doing it. लेकिन ये पस में आपको मैंने पस का नेचर रेड कलर नहीं है, ओके, समवट येलोविश कलर है. सो ये साइंटिस्ट ने क्या किया, मैं हिंदी में बोलता हूं क्योंकि आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर क्लियरली अंडरस्टैंडिंग माय स्टेटमेंट्स. थोड़ा मैं मिक्स करके बोलता हूं अभी. I feel that is necessary. Okay, so ये scientist ने what he did, he went to hospitals and then he collected. अभी आपको मालूम है हॉस्पिटल में जाएगा तो आप सपोज आप ड्रेसिंग, अभी उसको बोलते हैं ड्रेसिंग के लिए जा रहे करके, आप ड्रेसिंग के लिए जाता है. कल आपको आपका वुंड का ऊपर जो बैंडेज लगाया, आज क्या करेगा? वो बैंडेज निकाल के फेंक देगा, बराबर, और आज नया बैंडेज उधर लगाएगा. सो ये साइंटिस्ट ने क्या किया, हॉस्पिटल में जाके ऐसा वाला जो पस भरा हुआ जो डिस्कार्डेड बैंडेज कलेक्ट किया. रिमेंबर हाउ ही डिड द वर्क. वी डोंट लाइक टू गो टू हॉस्पिटल्स एंड डूइंग सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग, बट दैट साइंटिस्ट डिड इट. उन्होंने क्या किया, हॉस्पिटल में जाके ये बैंडेज, लार्ज नंबर ऑफ बैंडेज उन्होंने वहां से कलेक्ट करके वो बैंडेज में से ये पस पूरा निकाल दिया. वो पस पूरा निकाल दिया. कैसे निकाल दिया? by using salt solution.
सर क्या निकाला?
पस मतलब आपको मालूम है अभी वुंड का ऊपर बैंडेज लगा दिया तो कल आप बैंडेज निकाल के देखो, उसमें अपना वुंड का जो पस वगैरह आता है ना, पस बोलते हैं ना, आई डोंट नो द टेक्निकल हिंदी नेम फॉर दैट. अपना
सर पसी बोलते हैं.
पसी बोलते हैं. ओके, सो ये पस उन्होंने क्या किया, ये बैंडेज में से कलेक्ट किया. कैसे कलेक्ट किया? वो सॉल्ट सोल्यूशन में ये बैंडेज क्लीन कर दिया. ओके, सो क्लीन कर दिया, जो ये पस पूरा वो सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन में मिक्स हो गया. सो और सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन में क्या किया है, एक वीक अल्कलाइन सॉल्यूशन भी उन्होंने ऐड कर दिया. रिमेंबर व्हाट ही डिड, आई रिपीट, ही वेंट टू हॉस्पिटल, he collected the bandages from there, and in that bandage, what is there? Pus is there. That pus he collected by cleaning this bandage with a salt solution, and into that salt solution he added certain weak alkaline solution also. So ये weak alkaline solution और salt solution में ये pus को क्या हुआ? Pus में क्या है? White blood cells है. Pus contains white blood cells. Cells है. So ये solution में cell क्या हो गया? Cell पूरा break हो गया, burst हो गया. Not break in the sense we can say burst हो गया. But that is what is the meaning lysed. Okay. So cell lysed means cell burst. So cell burst हो गया मतलब cell का अंदर जो है वो पूरा उधर सेल का बाहर आ गया. अभी आपको मालूम है, आप सपोज व्हाट एग्जांपल कैन आई से, यू आर ब्रिंगिंग सम बोतल इन विच सम लिक्विड इज देयर, बाय चांस बाय मिस्टेक बोतल ब्रेक हो गया, व्हाट इज देयर इनसाइड द बोतल? दैट विल कम आउट. सो सेम मैनर ये सेल पूरा बेस्ट हो गया या ब्रेक हो गया, कट हो, मतलब बस्ट, दैट इज द करेक्ट टेक्निकल टर्म. सो लाइज्ड वी से, टेक्निकली वी से लाइज्ड, सेल लाइज्ड. When cell lies, what is there inside the cell? The main thing, nucleus. Nucleus is there. That nucleus came out and precipitated in that solution. You got it clearly that what I said so far? मैंने क्या बोला? हॉस्पिटल में गया उन्होंने, उधर से यूज किया गया बैंडेज कलेक्ट किया, वो बैंडेज में पेशेंट का पस है, वो पस में व्हाइट ब्लड सेल से उसको मालूम है. उन्होंने क्या किया? वो जो बैंडेजेस सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन यूज करके साफ किया, पस पूरा सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन में ऐड हो गया या व्हाइट ब्लड सेल्स ऐड हो गया, उसमें वीक अल्कलाइन सॉल्यूशन ऐड कर दिया, और उसके बाद क्या हुआ है? वो जो सेल उसमें वो सेल पूरा बर्स्ट हो गया. When the cell got lysed, the nucleus which was there in the inside, that got precipitated there in that solution. Okay, so from that solution he isolated a substance. He noted a substance over there that is nothing else, that is a phosphorus rich nuclein. He isolated phosphorus rich nuclein from that precipitate. And that phosphorus rich nuclein was acidic in nature, hence it is called nucleic acid. So this is the work of Friedrich Miescher. Okay, I hope that you understood this point clearly. ये steps आप याद रखना, ये steps में आप explain करें तो very simple होगा, टेक्स्ट बुक देखो तो आपको उतना clear नहीं आएगा. Okay, so I repeat once again for your knowledge. Friedrich, what he did, he went to hospitals and collected used bandages which contains the white blood cells from the pus. He washed that bandage there in salt solution, into which he added weak alkaline solution. There, because of these alkaline solutions, cell lysed or burst, and the nucleus which was there inside got deposited there in the solution. So many cells, so many nuclei he got. From that he isolated the phosphorus rich nuclein, and since this nuclein, that substance, was acidic in nature, he called it as nucleic acid. So why this nuclein is called nucleic acid? Because it's acidic nature. Okay, so nucleic acid is always acidic in nature. I hope you understood this slide. I'm going to next slide. It's okay? Any doubt? Any doubt, my friends?
No, sir.
No, I'm going next slide. Okay, so this slide, this point is repeated once again. Okay, so what is written there? The conclusion we can say like that: isolated deoxyribose nucleic acid. I mean, the nucleic DNA is isolated from the nucleus of cells. Okay, from the nucleus of cells, this man, this scientist, he isolated the deoxyribose nucleic acid. I already told you in the previous slide why he called it as nucleic acid, because it is slightly acidic in nature. But remember, it happened there in the year 1869. You know, you studied about Gregor John Mendel now. In third chapter, you already studied Gregor John Mendel. You know, when he started his work and when he submitted the paper, then the Royal History Society of London. I'm talking about Gregor John Mendel, 1860s, right? 1860s, he submitted the paper. And he presented the paper before the scientists at Royal History Society of London that time. No scientist could understand what Gregor John Mendel said. Am I right? Gregor John Mendel, he was just a priest, a teacher, a layman. He was not a scientist. But after his work on pea plant, he submitted the paper there in Royal History Society of London. But unfortunately, even this man was also there as a scientist that time, but none of the scientists could understand what Gregor John Mendel said, presented through his paper. And that is why, even at the time of his death, his paper was in the dustbin. But you know that in the year 1900, three different scientists at three different locations. De Vries of Holland, Lawrence of Germany, Teschemark of Austria. They were working independently at different their own countries. But De Vries, when he recorded, when he noticed the result of his experiment, he remembered the paper of Gregor John Mendel, which is kept there in the Royal History Society of London, which is presented by Mendel some 20 years back. He immediately went to Royal History Society of London, took the paper of Gregor John Mendel, studied and confirmed that Gregor John Mendel said so many years back, some 35 years back, that was absolutely correct, and called other scientists also, Teschemark of Austria and De Vries, Correns, and other scientists, and all these three scientists sat together in the year 1900, and then the genetics branch has been developed, and Gregor John Mendel became the father of genetics. So what I said over here, in the year 1869, when this man was doing all these things, what is the genetic material? Nobody was knowing. Gregor John Mendel just started the work, but that is unnoticed. But in the 1900 only, and since then only, people started to think about it, and they came to know something is there as genetic material. So far, people were saying that something. But what was that something? Nobody was knowing. So remember, the Friedrich Messer in the year 1869 isolated DNA from the nucleic acid, from the nucleus of the cell. But unfortunately, it was not knowing to everyone that this is the genetic material. Okay, so this part is clear to you. Okay, just look at this part. Now you see, if you look at over here, there is an year mentioned here. There is an year over here. This is called this is 1900. Till 1900, what was our knowledge about DNA, about genetic material? Nothing. That is what is written over here. But because of Gregor John Mendel, we have some informations. What informations we have? Just look at over here. Just some informations they have written over here. First point, till 1900, what was our knowledge? Our knowledge was that, one, genes controls traits. Remember, genes control traits मैंने लिखा है, लेकिन मेंडल जीन्स नहीं बुलाया. जीन्स का जो टेक्निकल नाम जो आया है 1900 में, 1900 और 1900 के बाद ही आया है जीन्स का नाम. Till that, even Gregor Mendel also said what Smriti said now, factor. People were knowing that something is there, but what is that something? Nobody knows. And Mendel called it a simply factor. But according to our present knowledge, I cannot write over here there as factor, we have to write the technical term only. So what is that? Genes control traits. Traits kya hai? What is trait? What is this trait? Trait meaning kya hai? What is the meaning of trait? Trait means, yeah, very good. Sashi, very good. So trait means characters. So today we know all our characters. Any living organism, whether it is a plant or animal, unicellular or microscopic, multicellular, microscopic or macroscopic, in all unicellular, all organisms, all the living organisms, we can say each and every character is controlled by genes. That is our present knowledge. Genes controlling the characters, whether it is your hair nature, where it is your behavior, your skin color, hair color, even type of proteins, even what you can say, disease-free body, everything is controlled by genes only. Okay, genes controlling the characters. Genes deciding what kind of proteins to be synthesized.
क्या हो रहा है यार?
कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. Okay, so genes controlling the characters. So genes are controlling the characters. My voice is audible there, clear there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is one knowledge. Now, where these genes are located? Now we said genes are controlling the character. Genes controlling each and every character of the individual. Where the genes are located? The genes are located there on chromosomes. Right now you are studying the structure of the chromosome. I think what Alex madam told me yesterday, chromosome structure is going on. Am I right? Structure of chromosome you are studying right now is over or not? Structure of chromosome is over. I think it is over. Okay. So yeah. So where the genes are located? Genes are located there in the chromosomes. Okay. That is one knowledge. Third knowledge is that till 1900, the third knowledge, or even today's our knowledge same only, the chromosome is made up of two things. Every chromosome is made up of two things. One is the DNA and other one is then the proteins or histones. In this, why one I is extra by mistake. So the DNA is chromosome is composed of DNA and protein. So from the beginning you look at once again, genes controlling the characters, and genes are located there on the chromosomes, and then the chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins. Chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins. Today also you are learning the same thing only. Every chromosome, if you look at, the chromosome is having two components. One is the DNA and other one is called the proteins. Proteins, otherwise we can say histones. And this is the main difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic. In eukaryotes, the chromosome is there. Whereas in prokaryotes, the chromosome is not there. Why chromosome is not there in prokaryotes? You have any idea? I'm told anything about that? Why chromosome is not there in prokaryotes? Any idea? Srishti's mic is off. That is in mute condition only. Yeah. So in prokaryotes, nucleus is not present in prokaryotes, well-defined nucleus. Okay, the point is that, okay, you write different points, doesn't matter, it's well and good, your idea is getting improved there. So in prokaryotes, the chromosome is not there because in prokaryotes, only DNA present. Only DNA present. You know that whenever we discuss about the DNA and chromosome, I used to give an example of pen. I don't know that whether we have discussed it this last year. We take pen as an example. Pen as an example means, you see, if you're taking a refill containing pen, nowadays we are mostly using refill pen only. We are not using ink pen. In refill pen, if you look at, you know, inside the pen, what is the most important thing of a pen? The most important thing, material in a pen. What is the most important material in a pen? Refill. Where the refill is there? Inside. So if you can, even without the outer case of the pen, by simply using the refill also, you can write, no? It's not so convenient, but still you can use. So what is important in case of a pen then? The refill is the important one. If refill contain ink, you can use the pen. If the pen is there, but there is no ink in the refill, there is no use of that pen. Or even if there is no refill, there is no use of that pen. That means pen, what do you say? The outermost part. बाहर से आपको जो दिखता है, what is that? That is just a covering. वो एक कवरिंग है. वो अच्छा वाला कलर में बनाया हुआ होगा, जो प्लास्टिक से बनाया हुआ होगा, वुड से बनाया हुआ होगा. That is an attractive material. That doesn't matter. But that is a structure which help us to use the refill. What is there inside? Refill is very flexible, right? So DNA, that similarly in a chromosome, refill का जगह पे क्या है? DNA है. Refill का जगह पे एक chromosome का अंदर क्या है? DNA. DNA is the most important thing. DNA is a must. Without DNA, chromosome has no role. लेकिन ये DNA को एक क्रोमोसोम का रूप, क्रोमोसोम का जो शेप मिला है, that is because of the proteins what it has. ये प्रोटीन क्या है? ये पेन का केस का जैसा है. Got the point clearly now? Okay, is it clear, my friends? Yeah, it's capsule. Okay, पेन का कवरिंग का जैसा है प्रोटीन. अगर प्रोटीन नहीं तो भी डीएनए काम करेंगे, प्रोटीन है तो भी डीएनए काम करेंगे, प्रोटीन कवरिंग है तो भी. सो यूकैरियोट्स में, अपना केस में, ये यूकैरियोट्स में ये डीएनए को एक प्रोटीन कवरिंग रहता है, इसलिए वी गेट द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ए क्रोमोसोम. लेकिन इन प्रोकैरियोट्स ये प्रोटीन नहीं है, सिर्फ डीएनए है. खाली रिफिल अपने आप हाथ में है. कैन यू कॉल इट एज अ पेन? कैन यू कॉल इट एज अ पेन? नो. So same manner in prokaryotes there is no protein, there is no histones. ये proteins का नाम है histones. दो टाइप प्रोटीन होता है, histones and non histones. So ये जो histones वहां नहीं है, इसलिए we called as no chromosome. DNA is there, and this is simply called in case of prokaryotes as nucleoid. Okay, so that is the nucleoid area. So आपको ऐसा mistake नहीं होना, क्रोमोसोम प्रोकैरियोट्स में नहीं है बोला इसका मतलब डीएनए नहीं है, न्यूक्लिक एसिड नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. न्यूक्लिक एसिड है लेकिन ओनली डीएनए, नो हिस्टोन्स, नो प्रोटीन्स. सो एंड फाइनली इधर आपने क्या देखा? साइंटिस्ट स्टडी किया टिल 1900, क्रोमोसोम है, उसमें डीएनए है, प्रोटीन्स है. ओके, अभी एक नॉलेज. अभी मैं आपको पूछा है पेन इज इंपॉर्टेंट या रिफिल इज इंपॉर्टेंट. अभी समझो आप मेरे को बोल रहे पेन इंपॉर्टेंट है, रिफिल इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. सो दिस वाज द नॉलेज टिल द ईयर 1900. टिल ईयर 1900 साइंटिस्ट का नॉलेज ऐसा था, एक पेन में रिफिल इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. पेन आउटर केस जो है, प्रोटीन से जो बनाया हुआ जो बाहर का मटेरियल है वो इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि that is deciding the heredity, that is deciding the character. Proteins deciding the character, proteins transmitting the characters. Protein was considered as the genetic material. Proteins causes variation. This is what till the year 1900 scientists thought. You got the point clearly, my friends? They considered protein as the genetic material. But today I'm asking one question to you. After 120 years, I'm asking one question. Is this statement correct? Protein is the genetic material. Protein is causing the variation. Protein is responsible for the characteristics of the individual. Protein is responsible for the differences between parents and offspring. No. A big no. Okay? Because till year 1900, scientists were thinking in such a way. But later what happened? Now look at in 1928, or by 1928, what happened? Scientists confirmed that not the protein. They had done experiments for that. They've done many experiments. That experiment also we have to see over here, but today there is no time. Tomorrow we'll see. But they were thinking that, scientists were thinking that protein is responsible for variation. Protein is the genetic material. But by 1928, scientists corrected it. Scientists corrected it by experiment and said that DNA is the genetic material. So is it clear to you? DNA is the genetic material. Now, to say that DNA as the genetic material, to confirm that, to say that, see, blindly we cannot say anything. You know, chemistry, you are doing experiments. Am I right? Because you have to find out the components of the solute, salt, what is there in that. So you are doing the experiment. When you are doing the experiment, first time when you get the result, you will not satisfy with that. You will confirm it. That is a confirmatory test we call. That means if anything you want to decide, you have to do certain experiments to prove. So proof, that is very much essential. So scientists conducted experiments, various types of experiments they conducted to confirm that the DNA as the genetic material, not the proteins. And these experiments we will see tomorrow. I hope that today's section is clear to you. I already told you that this is not like classical genetics. This is molecular genetics, little difficult to understand, but I'm trying my level best to get it very, very simple. Okay. So today, Nakul, it's okay. I'm very happy. I do agree with that. I want to continue, but so when we see the majority over here, I cannot go like that, because this topic I don't want to take in such a manner. I will take slowly and slowly, little bit. But only thing is that you have to understand it very well. Okay. I hope that whatever we discussed today, that is very much clear to you. It's very clear. And what we have seen today, we have seen that as a recall, we have seen that what is a nucleic acid. We have seen this is the genetic material and building block. And after that, we have seen the types of nucleic acids. And after that, we have seen its function. And after that, we have seen the difference. Difference slide, you remember, there is a mistake over there. I already told you that. But this slide I'm not going, because already I posted, it is uploaded there in the classroom. I'm not going to correct that part. It will lie as it is only. But still, you remember the mistake over here. DNA is double helix, double-stranded molecule, and a linear one. RNA is also linear in case of messenger RNA, you say. Coiled in case of ribosomal RNA, you say. But the main point is that is single-stranded. That is the main point outright. But considering prokaryotes in mind, difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic DNA, I mentioned over the mistake, but you have to keep in mind. Then we have seen the work of the scientist, the person who discovered, first noticed it, isolated the DNA. The name of the scientist, you have to remember, Friedrich Messer. And one more Friedrich you will see later. And how he did his work, I explained to you. I hope that you understood that part clearly. Remember that examination, suppose if they're asking what is the work, or explain the work, or something comes like that, you should be able to explain it. Okay. So we have seen up to that. And after that, till 1928, what was our situation? That also we have seen. But by all these things, we today understand that genes are controlling the characteristics of every individual. Genes are located there in the chromosome containing the DNA and proteins, and DNA as the genetic material. Charge statements मैंने आपको बताया अभी. Okay, genes controlling the characters, genes located there in the chromosomes made up of proteins and DNA, and DNA is the genetic material. How scientists confirmed it, that we will see in tomorrow's session.